to talk about the glories of Goddess Devi and talking about different scriptures, not just Devi Mahatmyam, but different scriptures. So this is the first of a mini series that will give us the glory of Goddess Devi. And Subi uncle is going to lead that along with Vidya auntie. And let me give a quick introduction to him before we get started. Sri Sundaresan Subramaniam uncle, short name, he's very well known as Subi in the community, is an accomplished energy and environmental professor. He's also an electrical engineer with an array of international experience in multinational corporations and US government agencies. Thanks to us, we are glad that he's based in Chicago. He runs his own consulting firm, building partnerships with the US and Asia. He's very passionate about teaching Sanskrit scriptures and talking about taking part in various bhajan programs. He's actively engaged in spreading the Sanatana Dharma through online and personal lectures. He's uploaded over 150 videos on YouTube and has a website called easyhinduism.com, which everybody needs to go and look at it. He also has that YouTube channel that you can also subscribe to, and it's there on Facebook as well. His better half, Vidya Subramanian auntie. Vidya is a qualified teacher of Carnatic music, over 30 years of experience. She's taught music to hundreds of students in different parts of the world. She's a very prominent member of the Bhajan group and provides musical support to her husband, Sri Subramaniam, in his lectures. Today, she's going to accompany him on some bhajans as well as some lectures. So we are very, very glad again to bring Subi uncle and Vidya auntie. And please, uncle, take over. He's going to share some information with us, and they're going to talk through it, and they're going to chant and do bhajans. Thank you so much. Over to you, uncle.
Namaste to everyone.
Namaste.
Thanks to Chicago Bari Temple management, as well as Sri Sampath Iyengar and Ravi Subramaniam for giving us an opportunity to present this program on the glory of the great goddess Devi. To begin with, I'd like to introduce this program, how we want to do this. It's a series. As you know, Chicago Bari Temple has Kali Devi as the main deity. Therefore, I think it is most appropriate to launch this program centered on Devi. Devi Mahatmyam is one which is a very large scripture, so we can't cover it in a couple of lectures. In fact, I'm doing one where we are done about 25 lessons so far, so it's a very long scripture. So what I plan to do is launch this program with a series of lectures with excerpts or highlights from different ancient scriptures, which will include Devi Mahatmyam, Lalita Sahasranamam, Saundarya Lahari, Stotrams like Kanakadara Stotram and Sri Suktams and many others. And I'd like to spice it with bhajans and music, both from my Dharmapatni, Vidya Subramaniam, and also any other person like Ravi Subramaniam who might join us with bhajans. So we have planned it, and it is going to be every Saturday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and it will be live at the website, facebook.com/Chicago Bari. So anyone can view it. So with that little introduction about this program, I'd like to launch the first session with a few words about Devi, the Divine Mother. So in this world, every living being is brought forth to life by a mother. There is nothing equal to a mother's love. In fact, even the words have similarity. Like you say Mata, it is mother in English. You say Ma, we say mom. We say Amba. Many people call their mothers Amma. So you see, throughout the world, there is some similarity about calling mother by almost very similar names. And the Divine Mother, she is the mother of the universe. And people who are devoted to mother, they're called Shaktas because she's Shakti. Shakti means power. And it's one which creates and preserves the entire world. So we glorify the Divine Mother as Shakti, and she's the one who grants our desires, who always protects her children, and she gives us anything that we need in the stage of Dharmartha Kama Moksha. And if you go to India, in innumerable villages, you have Devi as the protector of the village, and she is respected as a cosmic force. So is this mother an ordinary mother? No, she's the universal mother. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who's one of the greatest saints from India, he knew what the mother was, and he experienced the glory and grace of the mother. You see the picture here where he is hugging the idol of mother, and his disciple was the great Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, who visited the city of Chicago in the year 1893, almost 127 years back, and he established the presence of Hinduism in North America and several other countries. To explain the Devi's greatness, I just want to recall what my guru once said. He spoke to me and he says, "What is your concept of mother?" I said, "Just Divine Mother, a great force." Then he quoted two great Sanskrit scholars called Appaya and Nilakanta Dikshitas. They were in conversation. Both are known to be very great Sanskrit scholars in India. The question I just Appaya Dikshita asked Nilakanta Dikshita was, what would you do in calamities? Apati kim karaniyam in Sanskrit. Normally we will say we'll ring up 911, right? But he didn't say that. He says, Smaraniyam charana yugala ambayaha. Says, remember the twin feet of Ambal. In Hinduism, we respect the feet. You see Ramakrishna Paramsa hugging the feet here. So he said, remember the twin feet of Ambal, Charana Yugala Ambayaha. Then Appaya Dikshita asked him, Tatsmaranam kim kurute? What will that remembrance do for you? And Nilakanta Dikshita replied instantly, Brahma denapi kinkari kurute. Even Brahma and gods, other gods, will be your servants. They will serve you. That is, in summary, the glory of the great goddess Devi. We feel blessed and honored to spread the glory of the great mother, the Devi. So, continuing further on this, I'd like to today say a few things about Devi Mahatmyam, which is really meaning the glory of Devi. It's a part of Markandeya Purana, which contains many stories. In fact, many Puranas, they tell you a philosophy or something great in the story form, so that people, they listen to the story. And in this case also, this Markandeya Purana contains many stories. And it's got what is called Durga Saptasati, which has got 700 verses. Saptasati means 7 into 100, 700 verses, where Shakti, or Mother Goddess, is the supreme power. And it describes in detail how this Devi battles evil and wins over the forces of evil like demons. And good and evil have always existed from times immemorial, and constant battle has always taken place. And Durga Saptasati gives you details of that, and it tells you how the Devi, she faces many challenges, and she fights and wins over many demons. So this is a scripture which extols the greatness of Devi. It inspires a lot of reverence and worship. There are many lessons to learn, and there are many benefits that one gets by reciting this Durga Saptasati. Now, for want of time, we will not be able to cover the entire Devi Mahatmyam. As I mentioned, 700 verses, so we can't cover it, but we would like to cover the essential. And today, I propose to cover what is called Durga Saptasloki, which has got 7 verses. And I would, of course, give you an outline of Durga Saptasati, what it is, and what is the story about. Now, this is a description of Devi's glory in a story. And this is a story of a king, and his name was Suratan, and a merchant, his name was Samadhi. Both were actually driven out from their homes by circumstances, and they go to a forest, and they meet each other in the forest. They don't know why, in spite of being driven out by their own kith and kin, their mind is going back to them. They are puzzled. So both of them, they meet a sage, a rishi whose name was Sumedas, and they seek the counsel of the sage, who tells them the story of Devi in Durga Saptasati. So it's actually a story told by the rishi to both these people, like a king and a merchant, and it goes on in 13 chapters, 700 verses. In this, there is a detailed description of how Devi slays the most vicious demons, but still retains her composure and radiant beauty. And Devi blesses her devotees with fortune and success and protection. So to begin with, we'd like to start with some prayers and then a little song in praise of the Devi. So we'll start with a little prayer and then a song. Om Gajananam Bhotaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palasara Bhakshitam Umasukam Shoka Vinasakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sri 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 Shantanam Tavadhuta Sadgurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om. Now I'll request my Dharma Patni Vidya Subramanyam to sing this prayer song that briefly tells the glory of Devi and seeks our protection. We would like to sing Pahimam Sri Rajarajeshwari.
Pahimam Sri Rajarajeshwari. Pahimam Sri Rajarajeshwari. Kripakari Shankari Pahimam Sri Rajarajeshwari. कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी येहि सुखं देहि सिंह येहि सुखं देहि सिंह वाहिनी दया प्रवाहिनी मोहिनी येहि सुखं देहि सिंह वाहिनी दया प्रवाहिनी मोहिनी पामरि सा दाप पम मरि रि सा रि गम प रि गम पाध पम पध पनि स रि रि गम रि सा द पम रि गम पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी बंड चंड मुंड गर्दनी महिष भंजनी जनरंजनी निरंजनी बंड चंड मुंड गर्दनी महिष भंजनी जनरंजनी निरंजनी पंडित श्री गुह दास भूषणी सुभाषिणी रिपु भीषणी वरभूषणी पंडित श्री गुह दास भूषणी सुभाषिणी रिपु भीषणी वरभूषणी पमरि सा दप ममरि रि सा रि ग म प सा रि ग म प द प म प द प नि स रि ग म रि सा स द प म रि स रि ग म प हि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी कृपा करि शंकरि पाहि मां श्री राजराजेश्वरी
What a beautiful composition. It's in Sanskrit. I'd like to give you quickly the meaning. Pahimam means protect me. Oh Sri Rajarajeshwari, the Empress, who does all the merciful acts. Kripakari, and Shankari, the spouse of Shankara. Ehi Sukam, give me that unsurpassed pleasure. Simhavakini, oh, riding on the lion, in whom the mercy, Daya Pravahini. Pravaham means like a river or a rivulet. The compassion flows like a rivulet. And who is pretty, Mohini. Banda Chanda Munda Khadini. She was the killer of all these demons. Chanda, Munda, Bandasura, killer of Mahisha. And she's slayed so many of these demons. It's in a summary of Durga Saptasati, which we are going to talk about. And she is one, Sri Guha Dosa Dasa Bhoshani. Sri Guha is the brand name of the composer, who in this case is Mahavaidyanatha Iyer. And he's the one who nourishes her. And the god who can talk sweetly, Subhashini. Subhashini means one who talks beautifully, sweetly. Iruppu Bhishani. Iruppu means enemies, and Bhishana means who defeats the enemies. Vara Bhushani. He actually decorates all of us, the devotees, with boons. She's so benevolent that she gives away all the boons. So that, in short, is the meaning of this lovely song which she sang, and that really summarizes the Devi Saptasati. So, what does Devi Mahatmyam contain? It has got basically 3 parts. One called the Purva Bhagam, or the first part, which includes all the preliminaries like Ganapati prayers, Devi Kavacham, Stotrams, Suktams, Navakshari, Nyasam, and all that. And then there is a central part, which is a Madhyama Bhagam, and it has got a series of 3 charitrams or history. One is called Pratama Charitram, which has a chapter 1, which tells you Madhu Kaidaba Vadam. There are 2 demons who get Madhu and Kaidaba. They get killed in that. And second is a Madhyama Charitram, which is the central part, which goes from chapter 2 to chapter 4. And lastly, the Uttama Charitram, which starts from chapter 5 and ends to chapter 13. So that is the central portion of the Devi Mahatmyam, which is really the Durga Saptasati. And finally, the concluding part, which is called Uttara Bhagam, is got Navakshari Japam, Devi Suktam, and Rahasya Trayam. So basically 3 parts. If one were to recite all this continuously, it will probably take about 3 hours to do it. So we are not going to do that part of it, but I want to present today an essence of the Devi Mahatmyam, which is contained in just 7 key verses. Just 7 key verses taken from Durga Saptasati. So it's a kind of a essence of Devi Mahatmyam, as they actually represent the glory of Devi. So दुर्गा सप्तशती की माँ दुर्गा की प्रार्थना है. इन 7 श्लोकों में सप्तशती का संपूर्ण सार समाहित होता है. दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी नवरात्रि दुर्गा पूजा के दौरान सबसे महत्वपूर्ण पाठ माना गया है. So in this, actually it starts with Shiva asking a question to Parvati. Atha saptasloki Durga Shiva uvacha Devi tvam bhakti sulabhe sarva karya vidhayini kalauhi karya siddher artam upayam bruhi yatnataha. Devi tvam, O Devi, you make devotees to easily accomplish all intended actions. Bhakta sulabhe, it's very easy. Sarva karyam, all actions, you help them to do that. Kalauhi, it refers to Kalauhi, it's referring to Kali Yuga. In this Kali Yuga, karya siddhyam artam upayam bruhi yatnataha. Bruhi means tell me. Please tell me the way to get the results of action in the Kali Yuga. So, you know, in many places, at workplaces, you are asked to produce results. Corporations, government, everywhere, one is measured by the yardsticks of results that he gets. It's a result-oriented society. So Shiva is asking Parvati how to get results of action in this Kali Yuga, because in Kali Yuga you have more challenges than any other. To that, there is a reply. Devi Uvacha, Devi said, Shrunu Deva Prabhakshami Kalau Sarveshta Sadhanam Maya Tavaiva Snehanapya Ambastuti Prakasyate. She's telling, listen, O Deva, Shrunu Deva. She's addressing Shiva as Deva. listen, O Deva. She's his spouse. So he says, due to my affection for you, I shall now reveal the Ambastuti. The Ambastuti is praising the Amba, the greatest goddess, Devi, the means to accomplish all that one desires in the age of Kali. So that is the secret, as told by Parvati Devi to Shiva. So this Saptasloki is the essence of that Ambastuti. In other words, it will help you to realize whatever you're looking for. So let's begin with the very first of the Saptasloki. Jnani namapi chetamsi devi bhagavati hisa balada krishna mohaya mahabaya prayachati. I'll say that again. Jnani namapi chetamsi devi bhagavati hisa balada krishna mohaya mahabaya prayachati. Here, Devi is addressed Devi Bhagavati. You know, in India, as well as in other parts of the world, the Devi is called by thousands of names. She has got many, many names. You'll find that in Lalita Sahasranamam, that she has thousands of names. Lalita is one of the names. Parvati is another name. Shakti is another name. Brahmani is another name. You have, therefore, in Kashi, you have got Visalakshi. You got Meenakshi in Madurai. You got Kamakshi in Kanchipuram. All are referring to one Devi, but she has thousands of names. Like a person is known as father to children, husband to his wife, maybe a boss to someone in the office, uncle to someone. So the same person is referred to by different names. Likewise, Devi is called by different names. So in this case, Devi Bhagavati is called. Devi Bhagavati, with your power of Mahamaya, which is a kind of an illusion. You know, when you go to a desert, you see far off water. It's called mirage. When you go near, the water disappears. But from a distance, it looks like water, but it is not really water. That is a delusion. So people get disappointed when they go near looking for water, but it is not there, but it seemed like water. So Devi Bhagavati pulls you with that power of Mahamaya, not only ordinary people, but even the jnanis, the wise, the sages, even them get attracted by this moha or delusion. To say that Hindi, ve Bhagavati Mahamaya Devi, ज्ञानियों की चित्त के बलपूर्वक खींचकर मोह में डाल देती है. She actually pulls you like a magnet and you get into that in a delusion. This is a power of Devi as explained in the very first slokam of Durga Saptasloki. And the Rishi who was counseling the king and the merchant, he tells them the reason for their kind of misery in the forest, of their mind getting pulled towards their kith and kin, even though they discarded them, is because of this force of Mahamaya. So that's why probably this is taking the first place, that Balada Krishna Mohaya Mahamaya Prechati. Going to the second verse of this is the second of the Saptasloki. Durge sprita harsi viti vasesha jantoho swasthai sprita madimati vasubam tadasi dharitya dukkha bhayaharani katvadanya sarvopakara karanaya sadartha chitta. I'll say that once again. Durge sprita harsi viti vasesha jantoho swasthai sprita madimati vasubam tadasi Daritya Dukkha Bhayaharini Katpadanya Satvopakara Karanaya Sadartha Chitta. You know, Devi, I mentioned earlier, she gives you results of your action and she's blessing you with protection. Durge Sprita Harasi Biti Maseshta Jantoho. Biti is when you are, you know, when you Durge Sprita, when you remember her in distress, the fear is something which is inherent and that fear is removed. Apatim kum karaniyam, I mentioned. So when in distress, Devi removes the fears of all beings. The second line says, Swasthaihi Sprita. Swasthaihi means when you are in happiness, when you are okay, there is no problem. When you remember her, even in happiness, Mati Madiva Subham Dadasi, she bestows super auspiciousness. Even without her asking, she comes and gives you that. Dharitya Dukkha Bhayaharini. Daridra means poverty. And poverty, she has the power to destroy that. Poverty, sorrow, and fear, they are all common things which people face every day, particularly now because of the pandemic. You find people suffering from poverty, sorrow, and also the fear of what is going to happen in their lives. Here, it's actually a kind of question being asked in the Markandeya Purana that who else can destroy poverty, sorrow, and fear from our lives? Dharitya Dukkha Bhayaharni Katvadanya. Ka means who? Who can destroy? Obviously, only the Devi can destroy it. Going further to the third slokam, I'll give you a little commentary in Hindi also for people who may like to have it in Hindi. माँ दुर्गे, आप स्मरण करने पर सब प्राणियों का भय हर लेती हैं और स्वस्थ पुरुषों द्वारा चिंतन करने पर उन्हें परम कल्याणमयी बुद्धि प्रदान करती हैं. दुख, दरिद्रता और भय हरने वाले देवी, आपके सिवा दूसरी कौन है? आपके सिवा दूसरी कौन है? Who else is there? जिसका चित्त सबका उपकार करने के लिए सदा ही दयात्र रहता हो. Such compassionate is Devi. There is no one else. This is the third slokam. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Again, Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Now, this is a very familiar verse. Many people, even though they may not know the Saptasloki, this particular verse is very popular. In many places, you find even children reciting this so beautifully. Sarva Mangala Mangalye. You see, it is actually Shiva itself means auspiciousness. And it is the most auspicious. Who is the most auspicious? Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake means the three-eyed one. The Gauri, she's also called Gauri. She's also called Narayani. I mentioned before thousands of names. This is also included in that. Narayani, the three-eyed one. And Namostute, I offer my prostration, my namaskarams to her, who is the most auspicious, who grants all wishes for those. Saranye means those who surrender to her. You have to have what is called the Shraddha and Bhakti to be totally surrendered to her. नारायणी, आप सब प्रकार का मंगल प्रदान करने वाले मंगलमयी है. आप ही कल्याणदायिनी शिवा है. आप सब पुरुषार्थों को सिद्ध करने वाली चरणागत वत्सला, तीन नेत्रे वाली गौरी है. आपको नमस्कार है. Namaste, namaste, namaste to that Gauri Narayani, the three-eyed one, who is the most auspicious and who grants all our wishes. Going further, we are now going to be in the fourth slokam. It is actually starting with Charana, the surrender. Charanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parajane Sarvasyati Hari Devi Narayani Namostute Charanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parajane Sarvasyati Hari Devi Narayani Namostute. Says Namaskaram to you, O Narayani, who removes the suffering of all. Who removes the suffering of all. And you have taken up the work of protecting the weak. Sarvasyati Hare Devi, and distressed ones who seek refuge from you. Charana means Charanagati, he is seeking refuge or total surrender. Namaskaram to you. We are offering worship to you, and she is the one who removes all our sufferings. And she has taken the work of protecting us. Charanagaton जिनों एवं पीड़ितों के रक्षा में संलग्न रखने वाले तथा सबकी पीड़ा दूर करने वाली नारायणी देवी आपको नमस्कार है. So this slokam is the fourth one, and the fifth one says सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्ति समन्विते भये पस्त्राहिनो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोस्तुते सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्ति समन्विते भये पस्त्राहिनो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोस्तुते. Here we are referring to Durge Devi. Durg, the meaning of Durg in Sanskrit is a fort. In fact, there is a place called Durg in Madhya Pradesh. Why is the fort built? The fort is built to protect somebody from the invasion of enemies. It is a barrier created by people. In Maharashtra, you have many forts. In North India, you've got many forts built by kings in those days to protect themselves from the invasion and war from enemies. So Durga is actually means undefeatable. She's like a fort, a solid fort. You can't defeat her. So that's the meaning of Durga. And here they are praying to Om Durga Devi, another name Durga Devi. Sarvaswarupe, Sarve say, you are seen in all forms. I mentioned thousands of names and they're all in different forms. And who is she? He is a queen. Sarvasakti Samanvite. And she is a queen of who rules everybody. And she possesses, she has all the powers. Sarvasakti Samanvite. You possess all the powers. So to her, we are offering our salutations. Devi Namostute. And Vaye Bastrahi. Save us from our fears. Particularly now, fear of the pandemic, fear of the unknown, fear of what is going to happen, fear of new virus and so on. We are all facing all those fears all over the world. Save us from those fears is the request and appeal made by the devotees. Sarvaswarupa, Sarveshwari, तदा सब प्रकार की शक्तियों से संपन्न दिव्य रूपा दुर्गा देवी, सब भयों से हमारी रक्षा कीजिए, आपको नमस्कार करता हूं मैं. So this is the meaning of the fifth sloka. Going further to the sixth one. रोगान शेषान पकम चितुष्टा रुष्टा दुखामान सकलान बीष्टान त्वामाश्रितान्ना विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रितायाश्रयातां प्रयान्ति रोगान शेषान पकम चितुष्टा रुष्टा दुखामान सकलान बीष्टान त्वामाश्रितान्ना विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रितायाश्रयातां प्रयान्ति. Rogam is disease. The Devi destroys all diseases. You know, in India, it's very commonly believed when somebody has chicken pox or smallpox, which is a contagious disease, they say Devi has made an avataram. And it goes off only by itself. There is no medicine as such. They put some neem leaves and after a certain period, the person gets cured. Of course, there are vaccines, preventive vaccines are available, but this used to be happening for many years. So she's the one who destroys all disease. Rogan Seshan Pagamstushta. Not only that, she is the one who desires, who fulfills all the desires. Kamana, Sakalana Bhishtan. Abhishtan means whatever you need. Sarva Bhishtan Astu. We bless people, right? So desires, she is the one who fulfills all desires. Tvamasritanna vipannaranam tvamasritahya srayatam prayanti. No calamity really falls upon the man who have sought your blessings. And turn, don't they become refuge for others? Once they get blessed, they become also the refuge for others. So it prays, Devi, आप प्रसन्न होने पर सब रोगों को नष्ट कर देती हैं और कुपित होने पर मनोवांछित सभी कामनाओं के नाश कर देती हैं. जो लोग आपकी शरण में हैं, उन पर विपत्ति तो आती ही नहीं. आपकी शरण में गए हुए मनुष्य दूसरों को शरण देने वाले हो जाते हैं. Anybody who gets this blessing, they in turn offer refuge for others. That is the sum and substance of this particular verse. Now we are going to the last one, which is the seventh slokam. Sarvabhada prasavanam trailokya akhileshwari evamev tvaya karyam asmat vairi vinasanam. Sarvabhada prasavanam trailokya akhileshwari evamev tvaya karyam asmat vairi vinasanam. Sarvabhada, whatever troubles you, bhada, prasamanam, it is removed. Trailokya Akhileshwari, there are supposed to be 3 worlds, and she is the goddess of all the 3 worlds or the universe. So here it's appearing, O goddess of the universe, Trailokyam Akhileshwari, goddess of all the 3 worlds. All our enemies must be destroyed. Sarvabhada prasamanam. It can be external enemy, also internal enemies. External, what comes up, like the coronavirus, which is external to us, but it comes inside. There are other forms of fear, like people carrying arms externally pose danger to you. War, battles, these are all from external forces, or acts of nature like storms, heavy snowing, hurricanes, volcanoes. These are all external threats. But there are also within a man internal threats. What are those? Anger, greed, jealousy, infighting, ego. These are all internal enemies. We are requesting Devi to destroy all such enemies also. Whether it is internal or external, it doesn't matter. But all enemies must be destroyed. It is also fundamental in Sanatana Dharma that you have to have control in your own mind. Evameva tvaya karyam. Evameva tvaya karyam. This is what your main purpose is, the activity. Your action should be that vairi vinasanam. Our enemies must be destroyed. So not only softening down all the internal and external threat, mitigating them. Prashamana means mitigating really. And destroying. Vinasana means destroying. Asmat vairi, our enemies must be destroyed. So in sum and substance, this is appealing and worshipping and praying to Devi to remove all our sufferings. 3 words. Trailokasya Akhileshwari. Sarveshwari, आप ऐसे प्रकार तीनों लोगों के समस्त बाधाओं के शांत करें, मिटिगेट, क्वेल देम, और हमारे शत्रुओं का नाश करते रहें. Please continue to destroy our enemies. So that is the last of the sloki, which is really the essence of Durga Saptasati. Now people also ask, what do I get? I keep on chanting, nothing happens. This is a result-oriented world. So what is the benefit of chanting Devi Mahatmyam? This is a question anybody can ask. But there are many, many benefits. And you ask people who have experienced it, they will tell you. There have been great scholars, great saints in India, including one who lived in a village adjacent to my own village of Maharajapuram. The next village was called Bhaskara-Rajapuram, in honor of a great scholar by name Bhaskara Raya. He was a great Devi Upasaka. He was from Maharashtra, and he lived during the King Sarfoji's regime. Maratha kings ruled Tanjore at the time, and they invited him to be a part in the southern India. Along the banks of Kaveri River, he chose to settle down there. They donated a village to him called Bhaskara-Rajapuram. He was the first one to write the Bhashyam for Lalita Sahasranamam, or he made the commentary for Lalita Sahasranamam, which is still a great one. But I have a video introducing Bhaskar Raya called Bhaskar Raya Parichayaha. Any one of you interested, they can go to YouTube and see that Bhaskar Raya Parichayaha. It introduces Bhaskar Raya in his own words. He was the one who experienced bliss and showed it to people, the greatness of Devi. So there are many such Mahans, not only he, but there are many. So there are benefits which have been experienced by people. But to tell you or summarize, one thing it does is it promotes Vak Shakti, or speaking ability, clear pronunciation. In Sanskrit is a word which has not changed in its accent. It remains the same, and it is all in Sanskrit. Therefore, when you read it, automatically your tongue gets into the habit of speaking very clearly, a pronunciation being very clear. In fact, I had a young boy who had this problem to speak, and I taught him not of course Devi Mahatmyam, something else. But over a period of time, his pronunciation became very well. He's a very confident boy now in high school. It enhances the appreciation of Sanskrit language. You will know many words. In this lesson itself, you must have learned quite a few words. And it inspires. It makes you courageous, brave, and motivates you to be effective on your job. As you pronounce and as you chant, what happens is really it rejuvenates all the cerebral nerves and blood vessels in the body. It helps you to be healthy, to lead a happy and healthy life. After all, that is the object of any person, isn't it? Everybody wants to be happy and healthy. By doing this, if you can be, why not? So with strong devotion and then reciting Devi Mahatmyam, you will experience a lot of benefits by yourself. I don't have to tell you that. You will get the experience all by yourself. So in this short time, I've just given you a very concise summary of Devi Mahatmyam and highlighted only 7 verses which form the core of the entire 700 verses, just in 7 verses. So we'd like to now conclude this presentation as the first one. It's an introductory presentation about the glory of the great goddess Devi, and we will continue in the next session too. Next Saturday, same time, 5 p.m., central, and you can be tuned. So with that, I take leave. Namaste to everybody. Jai Mata Di, Jai Durga Mata Ki Jai.
Thank you so much, Subi uncle and auntie, Vidya auntie. Very, very informative as always. And thank you for that summary. I know a lot of people could not see the last session that you had on Devi Mahatmyam. This was a good summary. And then this will take this forward to other stutis, like you mentioned. It was very, very informative. I learned a lot. Thank you so much. And we will all continue to learn through your series of lectures. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much to all the folks for joining. And this will be available for you to see. Please do subscribe to Easy Hinduism of Uncle, as well as look at his videos. I think, and reach out to him if you have any questions. He'll be very happy to answer any questions. So thank you again. Thank you, Uncle.
Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste, everybody.